For this video, I'm going to be going over the writing process that we're going to be using in class. I'm going to talk about editing, conferencing, publishing, and reflecting. So first, I'm going to talk about editing. Now, to say that the editing process ever actually ends in writing would be a lie. Even when you've got it to its finest published piece and you submit it, there should always be more work to do and something that you can improve on. But for our intents and purposes in class, editing is just there's going to be multiple stages of it. So you do your first brainstorm and you just get your ideas down. You're not worried about grammar, you're not worried about spelling, you're not worried about organization. And then there's your first step of editing, and where you go in and do those sort of big major changes. You move this over here, you add this here, and you go through and you circle all your spelling errors, you circle areas where you think there might be a grammatical error or things you're worried about, and things you have to look up or check or ask people about. And then after you do an editing stage, you always complete a clean copy. And you can handwrite that or you can type that. But it's very difficult for you yourself to read your own work and continue the editing process, and for other people to read your work, and for me to read your work, if it isn't a clean copy. So it's you write, you edit, clean copy. You edit, you clean copy, edit, clean copy. And that process could go back and forth several times. And it should go back and forth at least twice before you have anyone else read it for a teacher or a peer conference. So for most assignments, we're going to have two types of conferences: peer conferences and teacher conferences. In some instances, you can go straight to me, but I'll let you know when that happens. And in both instances, you need to complete, you need to bring with you an editing checklist. And what this is it allows your peer conferencer to go through your piece looking for specific details, looking for the criteria we've established for that writing assignment, and see if they can find it. And if they can, you've met those expectations, and if they can't, they're going to give you that feedback. After you've done that, again, that's an editing stage, you need to go back and create a clean copy, and then you can go to the teacher conference. When you come to a teacher conference, it should be almost at the point where you're ready to hand it in. But maybe there's just one detail, one rule of writing, one element that you're not quite sure you've hit or you want a little help on. And that should be your question when you come for your teacher conference. You shouldn't just be coming with your work and it's like, hey, read it. You should come and you should be asking for some guidance in a specific area so that as I'm going through it, I know what I'm looking for and how I can help you. And again, by the time it gets to this point, there should be no spelling mistakes. It should be edited to the point where, you think it's perfect. All right. After all of the editing and the conferencing, we get to our publishing stage. A published piece must be typed. It follows the format we talked about in class: title, written by, and your piece. There will be times where I will ask you to submit your rough work with your published copy, but your package should go in the order that you wrote it. So your first brainstorm, your first draft, then your first edit, then your next clean copy, next edit, next clean copy, next edit, peer conference, teacher conference, and your published copy should go on top. So I can kind of look through your journey of this piece. And again, it should be typed. It really should be. The last thing you do before you hand it in is a writer's reflection, and it's a series of questions about what do you think was the most effective part, what do you think you're still working on, maybe something that you learned about yourself during this writing piece. And this part is important because it lets me know that you're being reflective about your writing, that you're trying to grow, that you're trying to improve, and that maybe you tried something different and we should celebrate that. And maybe it's not that great this time, but it's something that you're willing to work on. This writer's reflection lets me know that that's something that you're working on. And it's a way for you to reflect back on changes that you've made or something that you've tried or just your process as a writer.